Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Anthony with Cratylus Gaming, and today we're going to talk about Watch Dogs Legion. I want to give you my first impressions and talk a little bit about game reviews in this video. But before we get started, if you like these videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you get notified anytime I drop a new video. And if you like this video, be sure to drop us a like, comment, and let us know what you think. All right, Watch Dogs Legion. So my thoughts on this game can be summed up in very few words. It's very boring. The story is disjointed. The mechanic that the game is built around, this inhabit anybody mechanic, is a novelty, and it is fun for a short amount of time, but it does wear thin very quickly. And it doesn't help the story at all. It actually hurts the story so much that it makes the story really hard to follow. It makes you not care about the story, and it makes the whole thing just this tedious experience so far. There are some highlights. There are some good things about the game that I liked. The graphics are obviously, pretty good. The city of London, I've never been to London, but I'm told that it's faithfully recreated. It looks really good. The city feels alive. There's people doing things. There's NPCs, going about their lives. The whole system, the game is built around this mechanic of be anybody. Every NPC has a backstory. They have things they do every day, schedules. It is a really cool idea, and it's a cool mechanic. The execution so far I found to be not good. It just kind of shoddy execution. In terms of the actual recruitment missions, which is the way you get these people on your team, you have to do some kind of mission or a series of missions to get these people to join DedSec. And those missions have been pretty repetitive and also nonsensical. For example, I had one guy who I saw was a judge who could get us out of jail, and I was like, I need to have that guy on my team. I went to recruit him, and Bagsley, or the AI program, told me that he was a bare knuckle boxer who had pissed off Clan Kelly, which is a gang in the game. He had pissed off Clan Kelly because he had beaten their champion fighter, and now he was on the run. But the character bio had him as a judge. He was in a suit. He looked pretty clean cut. So those kind of things break the immersion, and it breaks the whatever goodwill I had for the mechanic so far, and it just makes the game really boring. It makes it really hard to get into the fantasy mode of suspending your logical thought. It's called suspended disbelief, where you accept facts of the game world that aren't necessarily logically true or make sense, but it helps you get into the story and brings you into the game world. And for this game, for me, I just haven't been able to do it. I mean, usually I am able to do it pretty much every game I play, but this game, man, it just feels like a chore getting through this thing. Other things that I want to talk about quickly: the driving in this game, it feels pretty clunky. It feels boxy and stiff. It's like driving a shoebox around, basically, is how I think about it. Definitely not on par with GTA. It feels like I'm playing a very cheap knockoff. Terrible driving overall. It's okay. I mean, it's okay. It just, if you're gonna make driving a feature of the game, at least make it decent. You're gonna drive around this big map, which is really nice and looks really good. You're going to make driving a pretty central mechanic, so you have to drive everywhere in the game, and the driving just kind of like, it's kind of like copy and pasted in there. It feels like it's not really fine-tuned, which is kind of disappointing, considering the cars look pretty good. The motorcycles are actually fun to drive. Still kind of boxy and unrealistic, but regardless, I'll leave that point for my full review. The pedestrian reactions when you're driving around or walking around the city or running around the city is really aggravating. They react to pretty much anything. If you speed by them, they'll react. If you try to run next to them, they'll react and jump 30 feet out of the way. It just happens so much, and it's so aggravating when you're trying to play the game, because you have people constantly, you have all this chatter of NPCs saying, oh my god, and jumping out of the way when you're really not doing anything. It's really stupid. And getting back to the story for 1 second. So Ubisoft did put some choice into the story. There are some points in the story where you make choices. I'm not sure if those are actually game altering choices or not. They could be. We've seen Ubisoft do this in other titles. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, to name one, but it's not clear yet. I haven't reached the end. I haven't replayed it. So in my full review, I'll talk about that more. There is a full review coming next week for this title. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on the game so far. You know, my thoughts may change. Maybe I'll like the second half of the story, maybe not. I don't think I will, but gonna keep an open mind and give it a shot. It is sort of fun in a mindless way. It just feels like a very empty experience. And speaking of empty, the city, while it looks great, there's nothing to do in the city. I mean, you can go around, you can buy clothes, you can't even go into shops. You can like click on the poster outside the store and select your clothes or whatever. You can go into bars, you can get drunk, you can play darts. That's it. I mean, there's nothing to do in the city. It's not interactive at all. It's literally so boring. The missions feel repetitive. It's mostly just, you know, circuit puzzle missions and pressing Y at a server box to disable something, whether it be a security system or download some information. It's very repetitive and it gets very stale very quickly. All that being said, I just want to talk about the reception to the game so far in the mainstream game media. Look, reviews are inherently subjective. Obviously, they're based on opinion. So I'm not saying that anyone's review is wrong or that, you know, people aren't entitled to their opinions, because they absolutely are. That's what makes discussion and art and, you know, entertainment entertaining, partly because people talk about it, they debate, they like different things, etc., etc. We're going to talk more about this in the first episode of the podcast, kind of the state of major media outlets reviewing video games. So if you're interested, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you are notified when that drops. So yeah, reviews, subjective, opinion-based. We understand that. So if you look at the reviews for Watch Dogs Legion, you know, after my impressions, we hop over to OpenCritic and check out the score distribution. So an overwhelming number of the reviews are 7.5 and up. A smaller number, much smaller number, are 7 and below. So when I look at these reviews, I mean, I'm seeing these high numbers and I'm wondering, if Watch Dogs Legion is an 8, does that score of an 8 differentiate this game enough from a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, which has a 96 top critic average on OpenCritic, in which IGN gave a 10 out of 10. So on OpenCritic, Watch Dogs Legion has a 75. Red Dead Redemption 2 has a 96. Does that difference really represent the difference in experience playing these two games? Now, you may not have liked Red Dead Redemption 2. There are people that didn't. It is universally praised as a fantastic game, but it might have not been your cup of tea. That's fine. But there's no denying that the quality of the game, Red Dead Redemption 2, is much, 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 much higher than a game like Watch Dogs Legion, which is basically a copy and paste open world that has nothing in it. Same thing with same publisher, Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which has an 84 top critic average on OpenCritic. Now, does a 9-point difference in averages represent the difference in quality between Odyssey and Watch Dogs Legion? And again, you may not have liked Odyssey. I thought Odyssey was pretty good. It was definitely grindy, but it's a Ubisoft game. So I found that Odyssey just did a better job. The story was better so far. The combat was really good, much better and much more fluid than I think the combat in this Watch Dogs Legion game is. And you have to ask yourself, does that make sense? Does an 84 top critic average on Assassin's Creed Odyssey and so far a 75 Watch Dogs Legion critic average make sense to you? I know what the answer is for me. It definitely doesn't make sense. But hey, this is the state of the industry and the review scene. A lot of games get higher scores and they don't get lower scores. I think personally, so far from my impressions, that Watch Dogs Legion deserves a lower score. I don't know what the score should be yet. I will let you know in my full review coming out next week. But you know, this is a perfect time to mention the symbiotic relationship that occurs between reviewers and publishers and how that kind of creates a conflict of interest, and why looking to reviews to decide whether or not you want to play something or purchase something is inherently difficult, because that review score of an 8 out of 10 doesn't necessarily represent the true score the game should be getting. It's not with every case, but I think that this game specifically, Watch Dogs Legion, is an example of that conflict of interest getting the best of the review environment. And what I mean by that is I think that these reviews, for the most part, that are above 8 are BS. You can decide for yourself. That's my take. And I'm going to have my full review out next week. So I will let you know exactly how I scored the game and what I thought about it from end to end once I finish the game and give it a fair chance. But so far, my impressions, this is not an 8 out of 10 game any day of the week. And it's confusing as to why it's getting these scores. I mean, I understand it's mindless fun. You can control everybody. I don't think the mechanic of being able to play as anybody should in and of itself get the game an 8 out of 10. I mean, the mechanic's not even done that well to be like this groundbreaking thing that makes the game, this super fun experience. It's just not there. Anyway, those are my thoughts, guys. If you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're notified anytime I drop a new video. Leave us a like, comment. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys. Do you think the reviews are accurate? Did you like the game? Did you not like it so far? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be back soon with another review. This has been Anthony with Cratylus Gaming. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you next time.